Legitimately, what's your price for this gig? There's no amount of money in the world that would make me do this.
19 months, damn, we could have had 2 kids by now.
There is no amount of money on the planet that would get me to do that. Why would I do that? I already make more money. I already make more money than I need. Why the fuck would I? That's the freedom that I have. I think you're forgetting. Like when people say like, oh, would you eat poop for like $10 million? It's like, well, no, why would I do that? I'm happy with my life. The whole point of making money is so that you can have freedom and you can have security. That's the only thing that money does. Okay? So once you get to a certain point of financial comfort, then you're literally making money so you don't have to be in this situation. So you don't have to fucking
These nuts.
do stuff that you wouldn't want to do. There are very few, like more money in this circumstance is not gonna fucking help me. More money in this circumstance is not gonna make my life better. What do? I do what I love every day. I stream for fucking 10 hours for you ungrateful, some of you ungrateful motherfuckers in the chat. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. It's that simple.
Imagine being happy has mods.
What else? What would I do? What would I do instead of this? Like, why would I be happier at another place, at another company? More money is not going to make me happy. It's not the money that makes you happy. It's what you do.
Nice,
if you have a fulfilling job, if you do not suffer too much alienation from your work, from your labor, that's what makes you happy. That's what makes me happy. It's not flexing. This is what I want for everyone. Money only gives you
I love your shit,
freedom,
man. Keep it up.
and it gives you security. If money is the primary source of happiness, yeah, I'm describing the law of diminishing marginal utility for money. Exactly. It's, I think, what is it? Like, there's studies conducted on this, obviously, but happiness is also a very difficult metric to properly understand. Really subjective. It's really unique. But it's about financial security. Once you hit a certain level of financial security, you have diminishing returns. It doesn't make you happier. The difference between $1 million and $10 million, as it pertains to how happy you will be, is marginal and not that significant. And the difference between $10 million and $100 million, even less so. It's nowhere near as big as the difference between $35,000 and $75,000. And I know this from my own personal experience as well. And if you're an up and coming person who is just now making more money than they ever did, it's 75K in 1997 and 125K now after inflation. I don't care to speak on it a lot, but this is such a bad take.
Jeff Bezos
no, it's not.
Must be really depressed
it's not a bad take. The people that say like more money would make my life better. No, of course it would. Because you're not at that level. Like, I know from fucking personal experience. When I made fucking $21,000 my first year of employment, you think the next year when I made $30,000 that it didn't fucking make a significant change and made me actually a lot fucking happier? Of course it did. But once you start making, like, once you make $90,000 or some shit, and you live in fucking Oklahoma, then the difference between 90,000 to 200,000 is not as significant as the difference between 30,000 and 90,000. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why this is not as I don't know why you're not catching what I'm trying to say here. Yes, having money is not everything, but not having money is. Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Make enough money so you can buy your own politicians and then change the system. It doesn't. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't know why people do this. Like, I don't understand why people. Why? I don't know if they're like doing it on purpose or if they're like trying to not. I mean, it's not even. I mean, I think probably because there's a lot of young people in here. Look, people always say money isn't everything. Money isn't everything. And that's fucking dumb, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that money isn't everything. After a certain point, once you have established financial security for yourself, then money isn't everything. If you haven't gotten to that point, money is everything. Of course. And the people that, like, your life, I'll just say this. Your life is dog shit if you are budgeting every fucking month and you're worried that, like, you know, on a night out, when you go out, you might want to drink a fucking beer, okay? You might want to drink a beer or two, but they're so fucking expensive, okay? You want to go to a nice place and you want to get a nice meal and you want to take a girl out, but it's so goddamn expensive. You don't know if you can take an Uber in a place where there's no like public transport, for example. This is all like very personal from my personal experience in Los Angeles. So you make do. You go and you buy manager's special chicken at Ralph's because you still need protein intake, and that's the cheapest way that you can get a fuckload of protein. You budget everything out. You got car payments. You got rent. You got so much shit that you need to pay. You have insurance for your car. Then on top of that, maybe you have to get surgery or some shit.
Is dog shit.
Okay? So, shut the fuck up, vegans, immediately. Have you heard of beans? Shut up. Yeah, you got a cell phone, you got internet, you got utilities that you need to pay for. You have student debt you need to pay for. Okay, you put yourself on a payment program. That weighs on you every single fucking day. That weighs on you. That weight stays with you every single moment of your day. If you've never experienced any of that, then you're very fortunate. Actually, no, fuck that. You're actually not fortunate. If you've never experienced any of that, you're really not fortunate, because I think that those experiences have shaped who I am and my understanding of the world to a degree. Okay? But once you get to a certain point, what I mean by freedom, what I mean by the security is like not needing to think, not having an argument with your girlfriend about not eating out because you just don't have money, and she doesn't have money either, and she doesn't want to fucking pay for the dinner. So now you're like, well, we can't go out to dinner because I don't have fucking money, and you don't either. You don't make enough, and I don't make enough. You're a fucking hostess. And, you know, it's great. You want to become an actress and stuff, and I'm fully on board with that. But you're not trying to pay for the meal, so we can't go out. Not having to fear about that, not having to have that conversation, not having to fight and have that conversation, that's freedom. That's boom, another weight lifted off your shoulder. Not even thinking about paying for an Uber after a night of drinking. A freedom that everyone should be able to have, by the way. That's boom, another weight lifted off your shoulder. Not having to think about investments that you want to make into yourself. Like, I don't know, a fucking camera. that you want to buy to improve your stream, or a new PC because your fucking PC parts are in the pooper. That's freedom. That is absolute liberty. That is real fucking freedom. So when you're not in that level, when you don't have that, like thinking about which gym you have to go to, because and trying to manage that with how much gas you're gonna have to fucking spend if you go to the gym that's cheaper but further away in comparison to another gym that's closer but more expensive. That's a burden that you have to live with. Now, every example I've given you is very specific, okay? Because it's from my fucking life. Obviously, if you haven't noticed. Driving around in a car that has no registration and no insurance because you don't have your own fucking car, and it's a beater hand-me-down, and that's fortunate. Like, but then living with the fear that like a cop might fucking pull you over every time a police officer is behind you in their fucking cruiser, that's freedom. Okay? It's freedom when you have no fear of things like this. And all of this weighs on us every single day. All of this stuff weighs on us every single day. So, of course, up to a certain point, money is everything. But once you hit that point, and most people don't talk about that part. Most people only talk about the aftermath of hitting that point. What? But once you get to that point and you go over that hump, it's not going to make you happier to make more money. That's why a lot of like finance bros, for example, make a shitload of money. I have friends in finance. They work 80-hour work weeks. They're fucking analysts at big banks. But they fucking hate their lives. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars. They have been for years now, since graduation. They're analysts. They make a shitload of money. They get rewarded well for the amount of capital that they generate for their bosses. But they fucking hate their lives. They despise their lives because for them, it's just about the money that they're making. The only way that you move up for a lot of people that suffer from not owning the means of their own production and suffering from the alienation from their labor, the only way that you feel like you're going to be happier is by making more money. You recognize that it doesn't improve your life. You're not doing something fulfilling. You're working for someone else. You have no control over that. That creeping fear that, like, if you fuck up, you might get fired. So technically, you have no security. It's really funny. Whenever Republicans say 80% of businesses fail, so obviously the capital owner in that circumstance is taking a lot of risk. Okay. What about the fucking worker? Why is the worker never assumed to be taking any sort of risk working for a business that might fail? If anything, there are better safety nets for the business owner to fail upwards, fail themselves out. There is no safety net for the most part for the worker. So if anything, the workers, that means that it's even more terrifying for the fucking worker that works for a business. Which is precisely why I always say what I say about making money and happiness. And why I always say I wouldn't do anything else. Just like when in the New York Times, they asked me like, well, do you want to do mainstream media? I'm like, well, it would, I don't know, or probably not. Let's say CNN gives me a job. Okay. One, they're not going to, obviously. Why the fuck would they pay me what I'm earning on Twitch? That would be insane. You know what I mean? But they give me a job. Someone's like, oh, dude, you're a sellout. Some fucking hammer and sickle furry avatar dweeb on Twitter is like, I knew you would sell out and go work for CNN. I can't tell that person to suck my entire cock with my entire chest. I can't say that. That's not freedom. This is freedom. That's why a lot of people go to Substack. What you're saying is that the incremental value of each additional dollar of disposable income is lower than the last, and it's actually zero for billionaires. Yeah. It is difficult for me to imagine what personal liberty is enjoyed by an unemployed, hungry person. True freedom can only be where there is no exploitation and oppression of one person by another, where there is no unemployment, and where a person is not living in fear of losing his job, his home, and his bread. Only in such a society, personal and any other freedom can exist for real and not on paper.
Technically median/middle class after taxes.
Yup.